Sri Ramana Maharshi and the Acharya of Sringeri Mutt, Sri Satcitananda Sivabhinava Narasimha Bharati Swami, who was the 33rd pontiff of the Sringeri Mutt. There is a nama in the Ashtottara of Sri Ramana Bhagavan, which was composed by Sri Shankarananda Bharati of Uttarakashi in the Himalayas, which says Sri Sringeri Mathadisha Bhavitaha, which means one who is respected by the head of the Sringeri Mutt. When one of the close devotees of Bhagavan Ramana asked him what it meant, Bhagavan Ramana replied, saying that the reference was to His Holiness Sri Satcitananda Sivabhinava Narasimha Bharati, who was the 33rd pontiff of the Sringeri Mutt, who presided over the Mutt for a period of 46 years from 1866 to 1912. Bhagavan Ramana further added that the Sringeri Acharya had intuitive recognition and regard for him. Acharya used to inquire of devotees going to him from Tamil Nadu, "How is the Balayogi of Tiruvannamalai? Is he well?" In those days, Ramana Bhagavan was known as Balayogi. The great esteem and reverence with which His Holiness Sri Narasimha Bharati held Bhagavan Ramana is also evident from the following incident. In the early part of the 1920s, there was a young student in Chidambaram studying Sanskrit under a well-known Pandit. After completing his studies, he went to Sringeri for learning the higher aspects of Vedanta under His Holiness. Looking at the earnestness of the student, His Holiness agreed to teach him, even though he had taken a decision to retire into solitude for meditation. The teaching began and was proceeding fairly well. Once, at the end of the day's lesson, His Holiness remarked, "We study scriptures and the bhashyas or commentaries on them. They no doubt clarify one's understanding and help one spiritually, but they are in fact secondary. The main thing is one's spiritual ripeness. One who is already spiritually evolved need not go through the scriptures and the commentaries on them. Such a one gets illumined in a flash without the scriptures. The Balayogi of Tiruvannamalai is an instance here." The student had heard of Brahmana Swami, that is Ramana Bhagavan, while at Chidambaram. Therefore, he was surprised to hear such profound appreciation of Bhagavan from his venerable master, His Holiness Sri Satchidananda Narasimha Bharati of Sri Sringeri Mutt. On a different occasion, someone asked Bhagavan Ramana, "Did any of the heads of the Sringeri Mutt visit you, Bhagavan?" To which Bhagavan replied, "No. Narasimha Bharati tried to come here several times, but did not succeed. It seems he always used to inquire about me." Was he an Andhra? Bhagavan: "Yes, but why?" One by name Narasimha Bharati has written in Telugu a number of beautiful philosophical songs on goddess Devi Nakshatra. I wanted to know if he were the same, and hence the query. Bhagavan Ramana: "Maybe. He was a Pandit and a poet also. Bhagavan, why could he not come here to visit you?" Bhagavan: "You see, he was the head of a mutt. They have several regulations. People around will not ordinarily allow such things." Sri Satchitananda Sivabhinava Nrusimha Bharati Swami, who adorned the Sringeri Sharada Peetham as its 33rd pontiff or Acharya, was a descendant of a very orthodox Telugu family of the Mulaganadu sect in Edatturai village on the banks of the river Kaveri. Acharya was responsible for starting the celebration of Sri Shankara Jayanti festival in India. It is due to him that the collected works of Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada were published under the title Shankara Granthavali, establishing beyond doubt Kaladi as the birthplace of Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada and as a pilgrim center. He determined the actual sites and consecrated his temple as well as that of Sri Sharadamba. It is worth mentioning that many people who, like Charuvakas, had no belief in Vedas and Shastras were totally reformed into Astikas by His Holiness' teachings. He set up schools for Vedas and Shastras in Bangalore and other places and also provided for their growth. Famed as reincarnation of Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada, who established Sanatana Dharma in the land, he initiated all works designed to spread the Dharma. His Holiness' erudition covered not only the traditional areas such as Tarka and Vedanta, but even somewhat unrelated ones such as Vaidya and Nadi Shastras. Among epics, his favorite was the Ramayana, which he studied with great involvement. His command over poetry, both in reciting shlokas of ancient poets and composing new ones, often extempore, was truly extraordinary. His interpretative and dialectical skills were impressive, whether he was speaking to the novice or to the scholar. As a conversationalist and debater, his presence of mind added beauty to his articulation. The Jagadguru's unshakable faith in the traditional values of Hinduism coexisted with a rather unusually forward looking open mindedness while dealing with people of different religions, geographic, linguistic, or cultural persuasions. When it came to performing his duties, he was as meticulous as a modern day technocrat come manager. He paid attention to the minutest detail of the job on hand, whether it was performing of a Shodashopachara puja or the offerings of Naivedya or any other religious or administrative matter that had to be seen through. The Swami had a truly simple living style. His wants were few and elementary, so he missed nothing. With such simple openness of manner, he was easily the most accessible of all religious heads, even to the ordinary man on the street. On Chaitra Shukla, the Swami, while seated in meditation after his morning bath, appeared to have fallen into a trance. The attendants were alarmed and rushed in haste to the person who was engaged in puja. The Swami had come out from the trance and said to the person who was engaged in the puja, "They have unnecessarily disturbed you. I was merely plunged into the bliss of self-realization." But he had no relish for food the whole day and remained fasting. Next morning, he had his bath as usual at 6 o'clock and seated in meditation till 9 a.m. Then came a violent fit of coughing. The Swami was still seated, coughing, with his head bent down, and at 11:30 a.m. his soul merged into the supreme light, leaving behind the bright smile alone, which, as ever before, was radiating on his face. It was Chaitra Shukla 2 in the year Paritapi, that is March 1912. Acharya had given orders that his body should be interred in his favorite retreat, Nrusimha, and that the Narmadalinga, which he had been worshipping every day before he retired for the night, should be installed over the spot. This was accordingly done.
Garuda gamana tava carana kamalamiva manasi lasatu mama nityam. Garuda gamana tava carana kamalamiva manasi lasatu mama nityam. Manasi lasatu mama nityam. Mama tapama pakuru deva. मम पापमपाकुरु देव मम तापमपाकुरु देव मम पापमपाकुरु देव भक्तवर्यमिह भूरि करुणया पाहि भारती तीर्थम् भक्तवर्यमिह भूरि करुणया पाहि भारती तीर्थम् पाहि भारती तीर्थम् मम तापमपाकुरु देव मम पापमपाकुरु देव मम तापमपाकुरु देव मम पापमपाकुरु देव